Today I'm going to be talking about how I bought my first piece of real estate, a condo, a 2-bedroom condo, 1,000 square feet in Atlanta. Bought it for $210,000. However, I'm really only paying, after everything's said and done, I'm only really paying $360 a month. Now I'm going to really get into how that works in a second. But first of all, if you've watched me before, you're probably a little confused right now because last you heard of me, I know it's been a while since I've made a video, but last you heard of me, I was in New York. So a lot's happened since then. Obviously, I bought a condo, so that was taking up a lot of my time. So back in March, I escaped to New York, came down to Atlanta, which is basically my hometown, kind of. I didn't grow up here. I wasn't born here, but it's my hometown. I have a lot of family around here. My girlfriend lives here. I mean, it's my hometown. So I came down in March, and I was freeloading off of my girlfriend for a few months. In June, when the coronavirus thing kind of slowed down a little bit, I went up to New York and got my stuff. I officially moved out in June. And that's when I decided I needed to start looking for a place to live. And I decided, it's probably a pretty good time to buy some real estate. And it actually was, looking back, because real estate has really shot up. I managed to catch right at the beginning of when real estate started going up. So I started looking for a condo in July, and I was looking for a 2 or 3 bedroom apartment style condo, or maybe a townhouse, something that's like a starter home, And I was trying to find something under $200,000, which is really hard to do in Atlanta unless you really want to slum it. I was also looking for something that I could rent out in the future. And this is important because you really have to vet the homeowners association to make sure it's possible to rent out and if there are any rental caps or restrictions. And I really just want to be able to rent it out because I'm on the Meet Kevin plan, where you buy real estate, live in it for a while, and then turn it into a rental property when you move. So a lot of the money I accrued for the down payment, which was about $12,000, that was the down payment and the closing costs, I accrued by not having to pay rent. By the way, savings accounts suck, so I didn't want to use a savings account to hold my down payment money. So what I did is I used a low-risk Wealthfront brokerage account to store my down payment money. This Wealthfront account puts your money in mostly US stocks and some corporate bonds. The market between March and July, as you know, did really well. So I was able to make my down payment pretty quickly over that period because of the growth of those funds. I had to save about $15,000, but I didn't actually have to save all that because it grew so much in that Wealthfront account. I looked at several properties, and I initially went into escrow on one property that I really liked. However, I realized that it was a bit too much work for me, especially for a first property. So I pulled out right before when I found the deal that I knew was right. And that is the condo that we're in right now, obviously. So originally this condo was listed at $235,000. That was back in February of 2020. It then dropped to $225,000 in May, and finally dropped to $215,000 in June. Obviously, the seller was kind of having a coronavirus panic and continued to drop the price. He had also already taken a job somewhere else, so he wasn't actually in Atlanta at that point. So he was definitely a motivated seller, thankfully. At this point, almost 6 months after the original listing, it had become a pretty stale listing. And that just means it sat on the market too long. It also appears that the seller had to replace the heating and air conditioning system in 2020, probably in order to sell it. So I got some brand new equipment for a heavily discounted price, which I'm very happy about. Make sure to drop a like down below if you're getting value right now. So I have some speculations on why the price dropped so much over the course of the spring. The first thing is that there were 2 deals that fell through, one at $235 and one at $225. And after those happened, the previous seller kept dropping the price. And I think a lot of that had to do with coronavirus panic and him also having already moved and taken a new job. So he was a very motivated seller, as I said earlier. The other thing is that the property has a lot of cosmetic deficiencies that frankly aren't that big of a deal to me, especially since they're easy to fix. For me, I'm pretty handy, but the previous owner was unable to do that or didn't want to invest the time and money into doing that. According to the comparable and recent listings, I would say I got a for about $8,000 to $18,000 under market value. That is after I bring the cosmetic deficiencies up to the standards for this area. So when I found the property, as I said earlier, I found it for $215,000. I ended up getting a $5,000 credit from the seller, so my net cost was $210,000. If you want to see a full tour of my condo, click the card in the top right. I have an in-depth commentary about some of the cosmetic deficiencies and a full walkthrough of the entire place. I'll also show you some of the improvements that I've made, including the ceiling fan, the lights, and some of the finishes. So now let's look at how I actually only pay $360 a month to live here. So according to my mortgage statement, I pay about $1,070 in principal, interest, and mortgage insurance premium per month. I have mortgage insurance premium because I put 5% down on the property. So once I hit 20% loan to value, I can get rid of that mortgage insurance, which I'm really looking forward to. Given that mortgage payment, on top of that, I have about $80 a month to pay for electric, $60 in water, $40 for internet. HOA is $381 a month. In total, that comes out to about $1,630 to live here. That's my payment every month. However, there's several things you have to consider when you look at this. First of all, there's several tax advantages I can take advantage of now since I'm a homeowner. The first one is the mortgage interest deduction. With that one, given my almost 30% marginal tax rate for federal and state taxes, I save about $160 a month. Then I have tax savings for mortgage insurance premium. And again, given my almost 30% marginal tax rate for federal and state, that comes out to about a $17 per month tax savings. I also save about $26 on the deduction for homeowners insurance. So after you add up all these deductions, my actual payment's more like $1,420 per month. But we can't stop there because we have to consider the principal pay down. Every month I'm paying a certain amount towards principal, and that increases every month. So right now I pay about $340 per month towards my principal. So we really have to add that in. So considering that principal pay down, total cost of living here is about $1,080 per month. But there's one other thing. There's something called house hacking where you share your house with someone else and use their rent to pay for your mortgage. In this case, my girlfriend is living with me, so she is paying me a little bit of rent to help me with my mortgage. So I have to consider that as well. So she pays about $650 a month to me. When you consider that income, the cost to live here is actually more like $430 per month. There's one other thing you have to consider. This second bedroom, in fact, the second bedroom closet and bathroom, this is all an office for me. This is where I conduct my business, both for my main job and for stuff like YouTube and other things that I do. This is where I conduct business, and this space is primarily used for business and exclusively used for business. So you have to consider the tax savings from the home office deduction. Given that the square footage of this office is about 20% of the entire condo, this office costs me about $360 a month to run. And that is when you look at the depreciation, interest, insurance, utilities. When you add all that up, those costs, and multiply it by 0.2, you get about $360 a month, which is my cost of running the home office. And when you multiply that against my federal and state marginal tax rate, we get a tax savings of $107 a month. So my total with the tax savings, the principal pay down, the house hacking rental income, and the home office deduction brings my actual cost to live here down to about $326 a month. That's right. We went from about $1,600 per month to a little over $300 per month, just from examining the taxes and the principal pay down and the other sources of income that are coming in for this property. So that's cool and all, but let's also explore what's going to happen when I rent this place. So I'm trying to rent this place out in a year to a year and a half. So based on what I've looked at for this market where I live in Atlanta, I can rent out this 2-bedroom, 2-bath apartment for about $1,600 a month. My cost to own this place, however, is about $1,391 a month. That's the mortgage, that's the HOA fees, as well as the insurance associated with owning and renting out this property. That leaves me with a monthly cash flow of $209 a month, which doesn't sound that great. It doesn't really make that much sense. That's only about a 2% cash on cash return. However, you got to consider two things again. There's always some considerations when it comes to real estate and taxes and these sorts of things. There's number one, mortgage interest tax savings, which comes out to about $160 a month. And then depreciation tax savings, which comes out to right under $200 a month. Depreciation tax savings is basically just the wear and tear of your apartment that you get to claim on your taxes every year. So this mortgage interest tax savings and the depreciation tax savings, both are considered paper losses. They're not actual cash losses. They're losses on paper, but you still get the tax benefit of them. So when you add these up into your cash flow, my actual wealth creation from this property ends up being about $566 per month. But then there's another thing you have to consider. By the time I actually end up renting this property out in a year to a year and a half, I'm going to be paying about $350 a month of principal down every month. We also have to add that into our sum per month. So once you do that, our total wealth creation every month is about $916. Our wealth is increasing by $916 a month. I appreciate you watching this far. Make sure to drop a like down below. Thank you for staying tuned. This has been quite a video. I'm glad you have enjoyed it so far. If anything seems fishy to you, if I messed up on some numbers, please let me know down in the comments, because I am not an accountant or anything. I'm not a real estate professional. So make sure if you have any corrections for me, please let me know down in the comments. This is all, I spent some time on this, but I'm not a professional tax advisor or real estate person. So I would love to hear your comments if you have any. One of the coolest things about real estate is you can own an asset, you can control an asset, and you can have someone else pay for you borrowing money to buy that asset. You can have someone else pay for your mortgage. And then once that loan is paid off on that asset, once someone else finished off paying that loan, if you're renting the property to someone else, that asset is yours for not that much. It didn't actually cost you that much. And you can go and sell that asset, you can sell that real estate, or you can keep renting it out. It's really an amazing thing how leverage can work to your advantage in real estate. Unlike any other industry, you can't leverage yourself into stocks like that. You can't rent a stock out to someone like that. Housing is the special thing where people need it and people will pay you to have it, to occupy it. And they're paying you to pay the mortgage. It's fascinating. It's one of those things that it just doesn't really exist anywhere else. And on top of that, there's just so many tax benefits to having real estate. You got the mortgage interest deduction. You got the homeowner's tax deduction. You have principal pay down. You can rent out a spare room to someone. There's so many ways. You can run your business out of your home and take advantage of the home office deduction. There's just so many ways to save money when you own real estate that you just can't really do when you rent. See, this is the power of real estate. And all it started with was just a few $1,000s. So just start saving that money and it'll happen a lot faster than you think it can. So make sure if you want to get into real estate, don't hesitate, don't wait too long. The time to get into it is always sooner than you think. I will tell you, it's easier than you think. Don't be intimidated by the real estate game. If you like this video, make sure to go down and subscribe if you haven't already. I really appreciate you watching to this point. If you own real estate already, I'd love to start a conversation with you in the comments. Please let me know about your real estate ventures. And my number one piece of advice, and this guy changed everything for me, go watch Meet Kevin. Meet Kevin reset so much of my thinking around real estate And he's the guy that really helped me realize I didn't need to save 20% down for a down payment. I could do 3.5, I could do 4, I could do 5%. 5% is what I ended up doing. And he has really helped me figure out, like, there's so much misinformation around buying real estate and how simple it really is. It's really, it's not simple, but it is simple. You just gotta understand it bit by bit. And that is why I'm very excited to announce that I will be releasing my very own real estate investing course, available for pre-order on December 25th of 2020. This real estate investing course is going to be fantastic. It's going to cover all the fundamentals of real estate investing and rental properties. This course can be yours for pre-order for the low price of $297.77. This course will be available in mid-March of 2021. So if you pre-order now, you'll have early access to it. If you wait any longer, the price is going to go up to $497.77. So act now. Also, one other thing about this course that I want you to know, I'm not actually making a course. I'm just kidding. If you want to learn more about real estate investing, I would highly advise you follow Meet Kevin on YouTube. Meet Kevin has some great content and resources about real estate investing, rental properties, buy and hold real estate, mortgages, investing in stocks, and all that. If you want to learn more about real estate, especially that in-depth stuff, I would highly suggest you check out Meet Kevin's channel up here. He also has some great courses, and I have purchased the real estate investing course, so definitely check that out if you're interested in pursuing real estate.